broadhead test. We're going to be sending down one of the white point Evo, whatever they're called, 100 grain Evos. So here we go. Right through the bone and the frozen jello. I'm going to aim right for the middle. Let's try another arrow. Let's try this one. We called it a day because we had a very good, successful test this morning. Once again, I'm using the Wicked Ridge. That's the second label from 10 point. It's with these heavyweight arrows, it's 354 feet per second on average, and it's advertised at 370 feet per second. So maybe I could blame that on the wind, huh? Pro down there. And we're going to take this shot. Hopefully we don't miss this one, right? I'm a little disappointed. I think that arrow went in the same place. So some of the arrows, when I adjusted them today, they were shooting off. And now, maybe it's the wind, they're shooting to the right. Alright, boomers, as promised, I am back here at the range. We finally got this thing zeroed in again. It was 3 inches to the left and 1 inch low. We finally got it zeroed. So now we're ready to move on to the scapula test. And this particular one is in frozen jello. That's a deer heart in frozen jello. This is what's called a small deer scapula, and this is called a large deer scapula. So the other one I have already set up. So this one I'm going to have to tape in, but we're going to shoot a couple arrows through this right now. Both SEVRs. Stay tuned. It does look like shot number 4 did hit the heart, but it did not come through the deer skin on the other side. So we're going to take this one out and we're going to call this test, just so you could see the sheer power of these SEVR broadheads on a dry scapula bone. That's a small one. This is a big one, and you can see how it hit. You can see how the scapula, how the arrow hit right here, the broadhead, and made a complete hole there. It only opened up on one side, and that's because SEVR has that ability when it hits bone for the other side to flex in, and so it reopens after it exits. But that is one very powerful broadhead. I think SEVRs are going to be the line for me next year. Alright, I hope you guys enjoy this once we get this video footage edited. Take care now. Bye. It's been a lot of fun. Well, it doesn't look like we ever hit the scapula once, but we certainly did destroy the jello. And we did clip the heart on this side, and we hit the heart on this side, but we did miss the scapula. So and these were all the hits were fixed broadheads, a variety of heads. I may have to just leave them in there if I can't get them out, and then put this back in the freezer again. We'll do an analysis later. All right. Well, it doesn't look like we ever hit the scapula once, but we certainly did destroy the jello. And we did clip the heart on this side, and we hit the heart on this side, but we did miss the scapula. So and these were all the hits were fixed broadheads, a variety of heads. The Magnus Serrated blade in this. You see also one broken arrow, one broken knock, and you can see how we clipped the heart but still managed to miss a couple of the scapula pieces, and it looks like one arrow missed everything. But I think it was windy that day. I'm not going to blame the wind, but we did have some issues after this afternoon compared to the morning shoot. The heart and the arrow shot that we did the other day, we're going to have to thaw this and see exactly what happened on that test that we did last week, so we can finish that video hopefully today. And there should be one more. Gonna have to eat some of that venison before we go hog hunting next week. Let's see if there's another one in here. Yes. This is deer scapula number 2. Deer scapula number 2. We're gonna have to thaw both of these in order to see exactly how much penetration we got during the broadhead test the other day. So I'm going to take these outside and let them start thawing later on this afternoon. Hopefully we can put some safe gloves on, dig some of the broadheads out of here, and see exactly what happened. So please do stay tuned. Hey boomers, it's Boomer Ranger on, back in the lower level here. Looking to follow up on the broadhead test and finish the edit, publish it to my YouTube channel shortly. This was the SEVR, and this is one of my favorite heads now. May become my standard head for next year. This is the SEVR hybrid, and it has a 2.2 cut because it has these two bleeder blades plus the 1.5 inch or 1.75 inch blades. Now, this is what actually happened the other day when I did hit the scapula. It hit here, and SEVR has this ability when it hits bone to pivot, and so as a result you only see one hole through the back side, but when it hit, both blades were fully deployed. Here's another broadhead that went through here and completely open because it missed this hard bone on the scapula. So what we're going to do next, you saw we used a variety of heads. This was the Wicked Ridge / High, and this was the Evo one. It's 100 grain. This produced a devastating kill this past year. All these arrows and all these heads had already gone through a deer before we did this testing. This was absolutely one of my favorites. It looks like it broke here. You can see part of that tip. No, it didn't break, but it is a little bit shorter. All these heads turned out really well after going through what we did. As you recall, we put an actual deer heart, and it's still frozen with jello and some other stuff. So this one hasn't thawed yet. This one's going to be really tricky to get out. I'm going to probably end up screwing the blade out and then cutting this open. Now this was interesting because this has deer skin on the outside, tape, plastic, and it went through a container, a half quart. juice jar. I think cranberry juice I like. All right, so we screwed out the blade. The broadhead is still in here. We want to be careful not to cut myself. And we're going to look at the other one, which is very, very similar. This one has a gigantic buck heart in there. And this is the one we actually hit 3 times. This has got frozen jelly in it as well, and it hasn't thawed yet. So I may actually have to come back to you after this thaws. A couple of times we did manage to hit the scapula. This does not have any deer skin wrapped around it. There's nothing other scientific. But you can clearly see, if you look closely, you can clearly see a nice slice right there. We did catch this heart in a number of places, and we got an exit wound on that heart as well. I hope you can see that. Talking about the broadhead test that we used to shoot some scapula, we're going to actually dissect, hopefully without cutting ourselves, dissect the hearts, find out how much penetration we got. And one of these must be thawed by now, right? Let's see if one of these is thawed. Maybe we can get this apart now. Yep, looks like this one's coming apart nicely. I'm going to do one glove here to protect myself, just in case we accidentally run into a broadhead that's buried deep in the heart. We did not get a pass-through completely through both scapula and the, but we did get some pass-through through the heart. It did nick the corner of the scapula, but it didn't poke a hole in it. Well, I think the other side may be just exactly the same. Well, this one finishes thawing. I think we're going to let this one finish thawing. We can get better access at the heart. But you could clearly see the broadheads that went through the heart. It's pretty impressive. Let's see how the other one did. Let's see how the smaller one did. This is the one I had taped on the outside, and I had deer skin. It had to go through deer skin on this side, as well as the tape. Well, it certainly blew. It certainly did blow right straight through the deer skin without any problem whatsoever. I didn't expect that would present any issue. This was, oh look, right there. This is why I said I got to be very careful. One of the broadheads is right at the tip here, sticking out. What I don't want to do is cut myself. And I want to try not to cut the deer skin so you could see the actual hole that the broadhead made. Now, remember, we shot, with this one, we shot mostly fixed blades, not broadheads. Broadheads were shot, the mechanical broadheads were shot in the other one. You can clearly see some very nice slices right straight through. Looks like one SEVR actually went through this as well. So in addition to the fixed broadheads, this is a SEVR that went all the way through this frozen block of jello and the deer heart. Now that's impressive. The SEVR went all the way through. Like I said earlier, it did not appear to hit the scapula. If it did, it just glanced in it. There's one right there. And I'm going to drop this and see if it can't break it up. Down to one frozen deer heart. Oh, it's actually starting to thaw. Once this gets a little bit better to handle, I'm going to pull some of these broadheads out. All right? Stay tuned, folks. These two slices would have had to come from SEVR broadheads because they're wide open. They're the type of cut that, if you look at it very closely, it's the type of cut that would be made by a mechanical, not a fixed. This one, I believe, was probably made by a fixed, and it just missed the rest of it. I put the arrow back in here so that I could eventually pull this out, and I am going to get a pair of pliers, see if I can pull this particular mechanical broadhead that appeared to go almost all the way through the heart. You see it? I think that is most likely a RAGE. So apparently I was wrong. This little heart was shot exclusively with mechanicals. Every hole in this was a result of a mechanical. So it's the other heart, the bigger heart, this one here that still hasn't quite thawed completely, was the one that was mostly shot with some mechanical and some fixed broadheads. The results are still interesting. This is very impressive. Remember, this heart was totally frozen and it had to go through frozen jello on both ends. It just protruded, and this is the 1.5 SEVR. It's actually in decent shape. There's a few little nicks on the edge, but this could be sharpened, cleaned up, and put through another deer next fall. I'll probably just get all new. I ordered some new I ordered some of the new hybrids, and that's going to be my choice of heads for next year. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate your subscribing, liking, forward. It really helps my channel. Thanks so much. The conclusion is I've already cut up all the hearts, tossed them back in the garbage. You'll see some still pictures of what they look like. Sadly, they were still frozen, so it made it a little bit difficult to interpret the exact penetration. But what I did find out for sure is both of the SEVR broadheads performed perfectly, and so did the RAGE. This is one of the newer model RAGEs, I think. Oh, this has a collar, but anyhow, this RAGE was not the one I've been shooting all year. Every one of the broadheads went completely through the heart when I hit the heart. When I missed it, it just skinned the sides. You saw earlier how effective the SEVR was on just going right through the scapular, and the same thing happened here. That's a pretty substantial hole. So my conclusion is shot placement is critical. It's probably far more important than what type of broadhead you use. If you put it through the vitals, if you get both lungs, the deer's going to die quickly, regardless of whether you use a mechanical or whether you use a sophisticated, just an ordinary broadhead. You know, the Indians were shooting deer a long time ago with flint, with stones that they actually made themselves. The difference was they probably didn't have to deal with as many coyotes or wolves, and they could stay overnight in the woods until they found the deer. They had no place to go. Their job was to get deer for the family, put some food on the table. So I kind of leave you with that. Focus on making a perfect broadside shot. Go for both lungs. And if you can, clip the top of the heart and both lungs. Every deer that we killed this year dropped within 25 yards when we took out the top of the heart and both lungs. All right, so I found this a very educational, informative. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, please click that like button. It really helps our channel. And don't be afraid to share with somebody you know, all right? Good luck next fall. Remember to start practicing early, and we'll have many more tests planned for you in this channel in the coming months, all right?